I chose to have an elective surgery about 5 years ago. And after that surgery, unfortunately, things did not go as planned. And since then, I've had to have 4 additional surgeries to correct the damage that was done. And my question is kind of a twofold question. I'm wondering, through visualization and through allowing, can I get to a point where I am satisfied and
yes, you can.
Happy with my appearance?
Yes, you can. And here's the most important thing that we want you to hear. And again, we want to really emphasize that where you are is just fine. That nothing that we're offering here do we want to be taken as something that you should have done differently. But we want you to understand something, or what comes next won't be any different than what's already come.
Okay.
So you go for elective surgery.
Yes.
And your vibration is whatever it is when you go there. So you take the action without tending to the vibration. So then the outcome matches the vibration. So then you still don't clean up your vibration. You have another surgery from the same vibrational base, and you get a similar outcome. And you still don't clean up your vibration. So you have another surgery, and you get another similar outcome, but you still don't clean up your vibration. And so we think you've asked the perfect question, not only the perfect question, but the essential question. Not only is it possible, it is essential that you deal with this vibrationally, that you get to the vibrational core of this, you see.
I see.
And don't misunderstand us. We do not want you to take from this conversation about vibrational alignment that we disapprove or discourage the surgery or the action. That isn't it at all. It's that we want you to get your vibration in alignment and then take the inspired action. Because unless your vibration is in alignment, the action is never enough, you see.
I see. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, if you don't mind, or if you want to, let's start back before the first surgery and talk to us about sort of what was going on, what you were feeling, what led up to the decision for the surgery, what was going on relationship-wise, what was going on life-wise.
Sure. Well, my mother passed away when I was young, so I grew up with just my father and myself, and I never really felt good about my appearance. I always had a low self-esteem. And one day, what led up to the surgery was on my nose, by the way, because I don't think I mentioned that. What led up to the surgery, I think, or one of the stepping stones, was that someone had made a comment to me about it. And I started...
A derogatory comment?
A derogatory comment. And I never liked my profile to be, I guess just to point that out, that was really my main reason for having surgery, and I had a deviated septum. I had some breathing problems.
All right, now before you go further, let's talk about this, because you've already said something that's really worth talking about when you said, I believe I always had a low self-esteem.
Yeah,
so
I do.
The thing that we want you to hear is, so I have a low self-esteem, which is a bigger vibrational issue, and I don't like my profile, which is another vibrational issue. So when you go to have the surgery because you don't like your profile, that's one subject. But when you have surgery in a vibrational attitude of having low self-esteem, that's a whole other thing going on. You see what we're getting at?
I do.
And so it's like we want to say to you, you can't get there from there. It's like the surgeons can't buck your current. The surgeons cannot perform outside of the vibrational patterns that you have going. And anybody who's looking at you or thinking about this subject is wondering what in the world you are complaining about, because you look really wonderful to them, but they don't get to choose. They don't get to choose. And this is the thing that we really, it's sort of a very unusual backwards thing that we're wanting all of you to feel happening here, because we want to say to you, we don't want it to matter to you what they think. And the thing about this low self-esteem thing that you got going on there is that when you are evaluating what you should do or how you should be by anything other than closing your own vibrational gap and feeling your own 2 vibrational points of relativity, you get into really treacherous territory, because when you're throwing your opinion of yourself up for grabs as it is reflected back to you from the eyes of others. Now what you're getting back from them as they approach you has literally nothing to do with you and nothing to do with your nose. It's about what they've got going on with them. Okay. So the flaw in your reasoning is in thinking that you could ever create a nose that would be appreciated by everybody enough that then you would be satisfied with it. You see what we're getting at?
I do.
Everything is vibrational. And this is what we were imparting to the surgeons and physicians that we were visiting with. Everything is vibrational. Until you get to the vibrational heart of it, you have not solved anything. So don't you think this is a wonderful thing? You want to understand this. You came forth not only wanting to know this, but wanting to teach it. You came forth deliberately into an environment where you could have an exaggerated experience that would cause you to want something in an exaggerated way, because this is something that all kinds of people, whether they're raised without a mother, or all kinds of people, regardless of what you consider to be a botched surgery, almost everybody that you meet is not aware of this vibrational gap. And almost everybody that you know does not feel the empowerment that is natural, you see. Mm-hmm. So you came forth, born into a family where you did not feel very empowered, born into an environment where you felt sort of sad and sort of out of place and sorry for yourself, and almost anybody would. In other words, it's certainly easy to understand. Right. But you didn't do that accidentally. You did that from your non-physical standpoint deliberately. You chose that environment because you wanted that desire to be born within you at an early age, and Source has been calling you toward the answers for a long, long time. Now what you heard was another calling. Instead of hearing Source say, come this way to thoughts that feel better, you heard, come this way to a nose that looks better.
Yes.
And but what you're now realizing is you can't follow the voice to the nose that looks better until you've followed the vibration that feels better. Because on that same path that feels better are all of the circumstances and events and surgeons and people that will help you to get the outcome that you want.
Okay.
So when you hear someone, or when we play with you, you can't get there from here, we really are teasing, because you can get anywhere from anywhere. But when we say that, what we mean is, unless you do something vibrationally, there's not enough action in the world to make any difference.
So it all comes from that. Everything stems from that.
Everything comes from the vibration. And that's why we were saying earlier that if you can make peace with where you are, in other words, if, for example, at first the vibration that you had going on was, I'm not loved enough. I'm not known. There's nobody that really cares about me in the way that I want to be cared about. That's the strongest vibration and the best words that would articulate it. But then that vibration led to I got a surgeon that doesn't really care about me. Not only inept, but doesn't really care enough to get it right. And then that led to a more exaggerated vibration that says, maybe nobody cares enough to get it right.
Yes. Yeah.
And here's the thing. Now, this is new. We've only been talking about this for a day or two. This is the thing that we most want you to hear. Oh, and as you hear it, all kinds of things are going to break loose within you. As you find that complaining, certainly understandable, irritated, certainly understandable, angry, certainly understandable, point of view at that first surgery.
Yes.
You're not actually moving down the emotional scale. You're still making an effort to move up it. You're still, from your place of feeling unworthy and unloved and unnoticed and unimportant and unworthy, you're still trying to get in to a place that feels better.
Okay.
Can you feel that?
Yeah, I do. Because as much as I do feel sad and, angry at times, I still want so badly to go up the scale. I still so badly want to get to that place of acceptance.
All right. So
yes,
here's a really important question that we want to elicit a really important answer from you. And don't try to make it what you think we want to hear. Try as much as you can to answer it as you mean it. You are doing that vibrationally, whether you do it with your words or not. What seems like the most important thing to you? To find a surgeon that can get your nose right, or to feel better about the nose you've got?
What I would like is to feel better about the nose that I have. However, I do still have those thoughts of, oh, maybe another surgeon can get it right. And I'd like to stop that.
Here's the thing. You can have it all.
Yeah.
But this is the thing that we want all of you to hear, is that if you can make peace with where you are, satisfied with where I am, and anticipating of something better, that's the best vibrational stance. But dissatisfied with where I am and anticipation of something better never works out.
Okay.
And so now let's carry this further. Being mad at myself for being dissatisfied with where I am doesn't work either. In other words, I'm dissatisfied with my nose, but even more than that, I'm dissatisfied with myself for being dissatisfied with my nose.
Yeah.
And so there's that vibration that really boils back down to, I'm just plain old dissatisfied with myself. And the reason that I think that I am dissatisfied with myself is because I didn't have the proper nurturing right from the beginning. And what we're wanting to say to you is that it isn't about that. And most of those people that thought that they had the proper nurturing right from the beginning today are pushing against their parents for other reasons.
Okay.
In other words, that nurturing that people think that they want from other physical people becomes, I don't like the way your nose looks. Isn't that interesting? So it's like, so it would have been nice to be nurtured, but it was nice to be more free. And it would have been nice to be nurtured, but those people who have an opinion about everything just sort of drive you crazy.
Yeah.
And there's nobody that has more opinions about daughters than mothers usually, in other words. And so I did pretty well about choosing an environment where I could be sort of mostly free. And I think I'm ready to let that go, that feeling that there should have been something in my life that wasn't there, because there's always been the potential of me closing the gap. And I understand this intellectually, and I'm doing a good job of closing the gap on lots of other subjects. And so all day, every day, as I feel that thing waft up in me, as it often does, I'm just going to do my best to fork into a better feeling place until I restore myself to the autonomy that I was born with, until I restore myself to the self-sufficiency that I was born with, until I align with what I've been reaching for. I've been trying to get to that through that person and that person and that person and that person, and then irritated that they won't be the vortex that can take me there when they were never supposed to be that vortex. That vortex has always been there for me to achieve, regardless of them, in spite of them, without them, you see.
I do.
You do. We can feel that you get that, you see.
Okay.
So, love the nose you've got, and feel appreciation for how well you've done. And be thankful for everybody along your path that has brought you to this important place of understanding. Because it is an important place of understanding, and we felt you just now understand it.
I do.
And now just move joyfully along, doing your best to fork in the best feeling direction that you can. So you're in front of the mirror, and the light isn't particularly good, and you're not liking how you look, and you feel yourself start to fork that way. Yeah. And then you stop in the middle of that, and you say, doesn't matter that I'm forking in the wrong direction. I have been doing it for a while, and it's natural, but I'm going to do my best to see if I can stop doing that so much. And I'm going to begin looking for things that I appreciate. And I am pretty good at that. There are a lot of things that I appreciate, just not about my nose. But there are many things that I do appreciate. And I am getting better at being a conscious appreciator. And I like this picture of forking. And that whatever I'm marching toward, I'm going to like it when I get there. And so I am in such an improved condition from where I once was. And while I wouldn't call it perfect in terms of the surgery, I am appreciative that I am in a closer place. And all of this discomfort that I've sort of been through has not been without a lot of gaining. And I am not sure if I'm going to ask for another surgery or not, but I don't have to decide that right now. But I am feeling better, and feeling better is what I really want anyway. And so I'm going to feel better with this nose, and eventually I may feel better with a different nose, but in any case, I'm going to feel better, and I don't have to make all that decision right now, and mostly I just feel better.